And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that Bobby Isaac won the inaugural pole at Talladega in 1969? Nice. In his famous number 71 Dodge Daytona with a speed of 199.46 miles per hour. He would also win the two poles after that. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, a.k.a. Mike Bob Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host, Christian, a.k.a. Savage NASCAR.
Hello, everybody.
So let's get down to talking about this weekend's races over at Bristol Dirt. Before we begin, we hope that you guys had a great Easter weekend, spending it with your family and your friends and watching some NASCAR. So what did you think of the truck race?
Well, I mean, first off, this was an incredible weekend. I mean, the truck race was pretty wild, and the cup race was amazing. And I know it's kind of biased because I was there on Sunday for the cup race, but it was definitely better than I expected it to be. First off, though, we got to talk about the truck race, and I feel so bad for Carson Hocevar. I really wanted him to win, Mike, and he was so close to getting his first win, and then Ben Rhodes is just like, yeet. Just took it right from him.
Rhodes, stage 1 and stage 2 winner, has had to come back from middle of the pack.
He is just tossing it around. I mean, he is just grabbing all kinds of speed on entry. Here he goes.
Crossover for the lead. Rhodes to the bottom. Throws it in there, trying to hold on to it. Hocevar trying to cross him over.
That is wild. Just totally took over.
Here comes Hocevar, throwing another one back at him, but isn't going to be able to convert. Rhodes holds on to the lead. Nemechek to the bottom now.
You know what I'm saying? So, is what it is. I thought the truck race was pretty decent. It was kind of funny to see the two cars stuck together there with Matt Benedetto and who was the other driver that got stuck to him?
Austin Wayne Self.
Three wide.
And look at
changing lane.
Benedetto almost got into Logano and holding up Austin Wayne Self. Meanwhile, Colby Howard in the 91 comes by.
Is he going to turn him?
They're stuck.
Tap the brakes, swerve it, bet you
They're
can.
literally stuck.
They are stuck together. I've never seen that.
I don't think I've ever seen that either.
Coming here.
Wow. They were just parked over there in turn 2 at this point.
And the caution is out. Well, just when you say I've seen it all. Right. You see something new.
That's when the cookie sticks to the pan. And you're like, man, how'd this happen?
That's incredible.
Awesome. Yes, it was Austin. There was a lot of memes about that. And regardless, I also saw this fact that this is the first time in Truck Series history that every single car finished the race. Or every single truck, not car, but that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
sure.
I thought there was a fact in the chat that I had put, and I forgot about it, but thank you for mentioning that. That was definitely a crazy stat.
For real. And, you know, Ben Rhodes, he led 95 laps. If I'm correct, he won every single stage. Carson Hocevar led 55 laps. And if I'm correct, they were the only two drivers that led in the race. And Zane Smith, I picked him to win. He got 10th. He started a little bit in the back. He started around 17th. He worked his way up. We saw Joey Logano, Chase Elliott get in the top 10. And Parker Kilgerman, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Got fourth. Yeah. So what about you, Mike? What do you think about the truck race?
I mean, pretty much the same as you. It was a pretty good race. I really like to watch trucks on dirt besides Knoxville. I just feel like, you know, it fits the trucks. Ben Rhodes dominating. I'm not really that big of a Ben Rhodes fan, but it was cool to see him dominate. He did pretty good last season, and he ended up getting the win this season after a very, very dominant performance, especially over Joey Logano and Chase Elliott, who obviously are Cup veterans. And Carson Hocevar, man, I'm a fan of Carson Hocevar. He's probably my favorite Truck Series driver. I think he's a very up-and-coming driver, and a lot of people don't really put their eyes on him. They know he's good, but I don't see enough people saying stuff about Carson Hocevar because this guy is definitely a great driver, and I could see him getting a win at one of the mile and a halfs like Charlotte maybe. So we'll have to see what he can do, but he's definitely getting a win within the next couple seasons, no question about it. He ran really well, especially at the end, but he couldn't help the cautions, and Rhodes just had such a dominant truck. And I saw a lot of people even saying, oh, the truck's illegal, but it was legal apparently. So Rhodes had a great run, and is pretty good on dirt tracks. So congratulations to Ben Rhodes. Joey Logano, my pick for the race and my favorite overall NASCAR driver. He got sixth, I believe, and he was in the top 10 for pretty much all of the night, and it was his first truck race since 2015. So that was pretty cool to see him in a truck. I have not seen him in the truck really ever because I didn't really watch the Truck Series when he was racing for Brad Keselowski Racing.
Now, speaking of Joey, your boy Joey, Mike, I actually saw him on Sunday outside the fan zone, and he was so nice to fans. I'll be honest with you. He went, before he was supposed to go up on the stage, right? He was signing literally almost every single fan's autograph that was down there, almost. And I was standing up on the shopping cart, this giant shopping cart outside the fan zone. I was just looking down, and there was like everyone was out in front of the fan zone area and the stage. And Joey signed almost every single fan's autograph that he could before he could go up to the stage. So props to him. But anyways, back to what you're saying.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm a big Joey Logano fan. He's one of, if not the nicest guy in NASCAR, without a doubt.
Now, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's this hilarious interaction I have with this Joey fan. So we were up on the shopping cart, and I told him about what Cam said last year, what he would do if Joey let him. And he said, yeah, I would do the same thing. That's my boy. And he high-fived me. I'm like, hey, yo. Dude, it was the funniest thing, dude.
Oh, yeah. That is an iconic Nasboys moment.
If you do not remember that clip, here it is.
Logano could I don't care.
Hell no!
Listen.
What is wrong with you tonight, man?
I'm telling you, man. No, listen.
Drivers we hate.
Listen, I won't lie, okay? Logano was definitely my number one favorite, okay? Listen. Mike, stop acting like you wouldn't want it to, okay, bud? Come on, get on my level, man.
What the hell? Okay.
Yeah, we need to take this out.
Yes, that is very, very iconic. You're an OG if you remember that clip. So now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 20% of you said great, 30% of you said good, 40% of you said meh/okay, and 10% of you said bad. Henry24257 says decent side-by-side racing, but race was determined by 5 laps to go. 5 out of 10. I don't know if I'd give it a 5 out of 10. I'd probably give it maybe a 6.5.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
No driver of the day. I'm going to go with Ben Rhodes easily. He dominated the race, no question about it. And shout out to Henry and Dalton.Malak_9 for guessing Ben to win the race. So now let's talk about the Cup Series race. Obviously, Christian, you were just mentioning this earlier. You were there. How was the fan experience, and what did you think of the race?
It's probably one of the best fan experiences I've ever seen at a track. I mean, just the stuff that Bristol does. I mean, the fan accessibility, what they do for people that are handicapped. I mean, there was just so much there to see and do. And the Bristol workers, big props to y'all. I mean, they were getting traffic in and out of there fast. They were great at servicing people, and dude, it was just great. I definitely love to go back to Bristol again in the future. And you know, there was a lot of fans there. When we got there on Sunday, me and my grandfather, it was like packed trying to get in there. But when you went inside the track to get to the seats, it didn't look like there's that many people. But there was a lot of people, especially outside the track before everyone went in before 5 o'clock. Basically, it was pretty packed out there, and I actually ran into Henry while we were there, and I got to meet Darian and Jarrett. So it was pretty cool, and it was really awesome to get to talk to those guys, and also Ryan Vargas. I was walking with my grandfather, right? He was in a scooter, and I just see Ryan out of the corner of my eye walking by me, and I'm like, "Hey, yo, Ryan, what's up?" And he was like, "Hey," sort of thing, and we just talked for a couple minutes. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Sunday. I mean, I've mentioned this, and you'll see it in my vlog video. If you haven't yet, you can go check that out. Link will be in the description. The Easter celebration they did at 4 o'clock was amazing. I'm glad they did that. They had Max Lucado there. There was Daryl Waltrip, Eric Almirola. I forgot his name. He played for Rascal Flatts. He was a lead singer. He was performing there. And there was also Chris Tomlin. So enough of me rambling. About the race, that went way better than I thought it would. It did. I mean, the high lane was still the dominant lane as usual, well, as the last couple races have been at Bristol. But the dirt was not a dust bowl. The rain was kind of unfortunate. We were like kind of getting aggravated by how much it was raining. Some of the cautions were kind of stupid because they could have just let them slide. There's a spin, and they could have let the car keep going, and they wouldn't have thrown a caution, but they threw a caution. I thought it was a great race, though. Chase Briscoe had the fastest car that day, and he was catching Tyler. He was catching him. He just dive bombed it and took each other out. I was in shock. I was like, why? I was like, why, Briscoe?
Coming to 4 to go.
Could be, but it's going to take a pretty bold move for that 14 to get by that 8, I can tell you. He's going to have to do something pretty drastic.
Well, he's got a few.
Oh, he knows what to do.
He's way better than him in 1 and 2.
Yeah,
he needs to just ride in 3 and 4.
He overdrives 3 and 4. He gets it up the hill too much.
See right there, picked up a push.
Yeah.
Behind him, has to wait on the throttle. Struggling in 3 and 4.
Yeah. He got 1 and 2 now, Pat, but 3 and 4
Sure
he
does.
struggled.
3 to go. I'm nervous for you, girl.
I am too.
Traffic on the low side. Leaders have the high groove to themselves.
Briscoe slipped up again.
Yep, too high.
3 and 4 is money. Don't change anything. Do not get greedy at 1 and 2.
I agree with you, Spot.
2 to go.
Oh, baby, he closed up big time at off of 2.
He did.
Traffic stays to the bottom.
Oh, don't get
White
loose.
flag's going to wave. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Here it comes.
Back, white flag. Still inside.
1 chance.
He
lost his nose a little bit on the 8. He's right on him.
He's there. This
Will
could
he
be
go
big.
for a slide job?
He's
This is
slide
it.
job
There
him
it
right
goes.
here. Here you go.
Win for it.
Down to the bottom. Slides up into him. Who's going to save it? Neither one. They both spin out. Kyle Busch and Kyle Busch is going to win barely. Steals one.
Holy cow. Tyler Reddick.
Why did you do that? But then again, Tyler Reddick, I felt bad for him. He's about to get his first career win, and Kyle Busch won, and a lot of people were not happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine not a lot of people were happy about it. I could hear the boos from the TV. But it was a pretty good race. Much, much better than last season's race there. The cars looked a lot better on the dirt. They were sliding a lot better, and it looked more like I was watching a dirt race than just the normal stock cars just racing on the dirt. Yeah. We did see a lot of the dirt veterans like Larson, Reddick, Briscoe, and Bell. They were dominating a lot more than they did last year. And it was a lot better than last season where Larson, Bell, Reddick was doing decent last year, but Bell and Larson, they were more in the back and they wrecked out.
You just wouldn't. Bell goes around. Larson collects them.
Bell, Larson.
Boy, there's 2 of our favorites right there that we thought were going to be the guys to beat. Might be done.
I would definitely agree with that in a big way.
It looked to me like Christopher Bell was working that top groove and just didn't have anything to lean on and came around.
In one of the first laps of the race. But this year they did pretty much what you would expect. Ty Dillon really impressed me. He won his heat, and then he started 4th, and he stayed there for a lot of the first stage and then fell back because of pit crew issues. But props to Ty Dillon. Austin Dillon, he did a really good job until he blew up. So overall, the race was a success. I really liked this race. I still would like to see NASCAR race on an actual dirt track where the employees know how to prep the surface, but Bristol Dirt is definitely a great track, and I'm pretty glad that's back on the schedule. At first, I had a little bit mixed emotions about it, but I am pretty satisfied that it's back on the schedule for the 2023 season.
Yeah.
Now for the Reddick and Briscoe thing, that's just a racing thing. I don't know why people were really complaining about it. It's nothing really that serious. What happened, in my opinion, was that Briscoe, he was trying to get to him on the bottom, and he hit the white line or the apron, where the apron would be on if it was the concrete surface, and just slid up the track because I guess maybe it was wet or something. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, he just slid up the track and then took him out. That's just what happens. Respect to both Briscoe and Reddick for being great sports about it. You know, if it was a lot of other drivers, they'd probably be upset about it. Ty Gibbs. But yeah, overall, it was definitely a great race and a great watch on Easter Sunday, which we'll get into my opinion on that a little bit and some other people's opinions. But the ratings were actually decent. 4.007 million viewers watched it, which was probably why they did it on Easter for ratings. So I'm glad to see it going up. Hopefully the ratings can continue to go up. So let's take a look at what you guys had to say about it.
Real quick, Mike, can I add a little bit more about the race in general? Ross Chastain, he was up front for the beginning of the race, and then he had an engine go out, which was pretty unfortunate. He actually started like 33rd, and he worked his way up. He was up in the top 10, and then he had the engine issue. Denny Hamlin, where is Denny at? I mean, nowhere to be seen. We saw a couple wrecks in this race, but I thought it was pretty cool to see Michael McDowell get in the top 10. As you mentioned earlier, Ty Dillon. And Eric Jones was running well, too, until he got caught up in a wreck. He got turned off turn 2, if I'm correct.
He had a good bit of prior damage.
Yeah, him and Ricky Stenhouse got together, trying to stay off of him. Got turned around.
But, man, there was a good bit of wrecks. I know that some people sitting beside me were complaining about how many cautions there were. Personally, I didn't mind it, but then again, some of them they could have just let slide. And I'm glad the rain held off so we could get to see the finish that happened, because that's definitely one of the craziest races I've seen in person.
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to mention now that you're mentioning the engine failures, all the dirt buildup on some of the cars' noses, that's something that I feel like they got to fix. And also the windshield. I know a lot of drivers were complaining that they should do mesh, because if you've seen like dirt late models or sprint cars, they have mesh on the windshields or bars instead of the glass windshield. But the dirt was handled a lot better than last season, so I'm glad that they did fix that. But I would like to see the problem get fixed with the dirt going up in the nose, whether they have to change the nose to something better or they clean it more. I'm not entirely sure what they can do with it, but they do need to fix that.
Yeah, and Kevin Harvick wasn't too happy about the race in general, even coming in. And he wasn't very happy in his post-race interview.
Tell us, what do you know?
Well, the first thing I can tell you is we did a terrible job prepping the track and full of mud. There was nobody here to pack the track, so we all looked like a bunch of bozos coming into pit because we don't know how to prep the track. And then we don't get the lucky dog for whatever reason with 2 cars on pit road, and then we got run over by, I don't know who ran us over.
I know Kyle Busch, he had said some things about them racing at the dirt track, but Kyle Busch got his 60th career win. He's catching up to Earnhardt, and I know a lot of people are not going to be happy if he catches them. So it is what it is. But Kyle Busch is definitely one of the greatest drivers of all time.
Oh, facts.
No doubt.
If he catches Earnhardt, he's top 10 easily. He probably could even be top 10
for me, but
he could probably even be considered for top 10 right now. We'll see.
I wouldn't say top 5, but he's
no
in
top 10. Top 10. Not definitely not top 5.
If you say he's in the top 5, then you're smoking something. But anyways.
So now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 5 of you said great, or 42%. 50% of you said good. 0% of you said meh / okay, and 8% of you said bad.
Huh.
Henry24257 says, really good race. I might be biased since I was in person, but other than that, the rain delays really race. Other than the rain delays, really race 8 out of 10. I gotta agree with that.
That's an 8 out of 10 race for sure.
Kim Runfelt says, rain delay messed some cars up. Agreed. And Billy B. Jazz says, rain delays are just long and boring. I appreciate the effort to finish. Yeah, I thought a couple times that they were going to call it and either Reddick or Busch was going to win.
Yeah.
Which was surprising to me, but I'm glad to see NASCAR actually waiting it out and not calling it just to call it because it was getting late. So props to NASCAR.
Yeah, when you see my vlog, you'll see that the rain delay before 12 to go when Tyler Reddick was leading, we left and I went to go return the scanners that we had. We had the headset scanners. When I was walking back up the giant hill, I hear the engines starting again. I'm like, what? I'm like, what's going on? And then I look at my phone and I see Bob Pockrass's tweet, I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, hopefully they let us back in. Hopefully they'll let us back in. They didn't even care. They said, hey, audio people to just go back in. So
yeah, I mean, I did see a lot of people going back from the concourse in the Hollywood Hotel, which I'm glad they brought back for this race. And Darrell Waltrip back, obviously. So I'm glad that they actually let you guys back in. Bristol seems like a great track for fan experience.
Yeah. They said no re-entry, but they didn't care, honestly, because they're like, oh, yeah, y'all kind of got messed up by that.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So now let's take a look at what you guys had to say about the Reddick and Briscoe thing, because, again, a lot of people have to complain. 33% of you were on Briscoe's side and 67% of you were on Reddick's side. Again, like I said, it's just racing, and it seems like a lot of the viewers agree. Henry says, just hard racing, but I wish they banged doors or something, but it is what it is. Gotta agree with that. Kim Runfelt says, sneaky Kyle wins again. Kyle Busch is Alex Bowman 2.0. Billy B. Jazz says, that's dirt racing. Yes. Driver of the day, Suarez. That is an interesting pick. I got to go with, for me, it's between Chase Briscoe and Tyler Reddick because they were up in the front the most. I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe because he had the fastest car, but he did lose some points for the move that he made on Reddick. But again, that's just racing.
You have to agree with you, Mike. Chase Briscoe, driver today, he started up front. He led a lot of laps. He had that spin, if I'm correct.
Really tacky, a lot of grip.
Yeah, I don't know what he had, if he had lower air than some of the other guys, because that car was really hooked up.
Yeah.
He came back from that.
Yeah.
Got back up there. And then also he pitted I think he pitted like midway through the last stage. And he was pretty far back with on that restart. He flew by everybody and was catching Tyler in those last couple of laps. I have to say Chase. And, I thought it was definitely a class act from Tyler Reddick after the race, like you mentioned. Them talking it over and being grown and not being childish and complaining and whining and stuff like that.
Chase is actually walked up over here behind us, Chase. I was going to spin out of it either way. And then I was like, oh, please don't make it the right rear, please don't make it the right rear. And I saw it, but I'm sorry. I just want to believe it. I kept trying. I was trying it so hard. I couldn't run any harder. I'm so sorry. I wish you might want. I needed to drive away. That's all right. I just want to apologize. Anyway, that's fun though. Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, I can see why Tyler Reddick would be upset because he was about to win. He was about to get his first Cup win, and he gets taken out. But what a weekend!
So just a couple of quick things before we close the episode out. First off, this was the first time NASCAR had raced on Easter since, I believe, 1989 at Richmond. So that's what I saw on Google. I looked it up and because I was curious about it. But anyways, this was the first time that NASCAR had raced on Easter in a while. And a lot of people were, once again, complaining about it. Here's what it said. Here's what you guys had to say about it. 57% of you said you were okay with it. 21% of you said you were not okay with it. and 22% of people said that they had no opinion. Spuddo.shady said 1 night race, and they have churches to accommodate the track before the race, which I really liked that they had the churches. I was wondering, like, are they going to do something with this? Because I didn't see NASCAR really say anything about like Good Friday. So I'm like, are they going to accommodate it? And they did accommodate it. So props to Bristol and NASCAR.
Yeah.
Dalton.Malak_9 says, I say it's 50-50 because drivers should be able to celebrate Easter Sunday with their fam. I got to agree, but to elaborate more on your point, the NBA played on Easter, the MLB played on Easter, the NFL plays on Thanksgiving every year, and the NBA plays on Christmas, and the MLB plays on 4th of July. I could go on about this. Henry said, at least it's a night race, but still shouldn't race on Easter. My personal take on this is I'm a little neutral on it because I know that it was just to get the ratings up, and it did work. But at the same time, I feel like the drivers do deserve some sort of a break because they only have like one off week this season. And obviously it's a long schedule. So they do deserve a break to be able to hang out with the fam. But it's obviously normal for these big time sports to race or play on holidays. And NASCAR seems to be no different. And I did enjoy it, being able to go from my grandmother's house and be able to watch the race after Easter dinner while everybody was talking about stuff that I honestly just did not care about. So, yeah.
Well, I will say that I made a video about what people's opinions were as well, and I made that for my YouTube channel. And Instagram was mainly, everyone was okay with almost on Instagram. It was like, I think it was like 67% or something like that was the poll on my story. And then on Facebook, it was about 85% of people were not okay with it. But Stay again, I can understand because, you know, different people use different apps, and more people, I will say, that are older are on Facebook than on Instagram. So it is what it is. I kind of made a video talking about my opinion on it, so y'all can go check that out if I want. But
yeah, that was a very good video, Christian. I watched that.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mike.
All right, so now let's get into our Talladega picks. This is my favorite track.
We gotta talk about the meme of the week, right?
Oh, that's correct. Oh, and I have to give a shout out to they call me _Lucius for picking Kyle Busch to win the race. I was like, there's no way he's gonna win, and he lucked himself into it. Meme of the week. We actually got a tie for this week's meme of the week. There were a lot of good memes this week. They're finally starting to pick back up. The first meme of the week is made by For the Championship, and here it is. Obviously, for context, it's NASCAR fans using the stupid term that is Mickey Mouse win. I completely agreed with that meme, and we both agreed unanimously that that should be part of the meme of the week series.
For sure. I mean, that's factual because it does happen on many occasions, almost every single weekend, whenever someone that they don't like wins a race. I mean, it happens with Chase Elliott. It happens with, I've seen it even happen with like Christopher Bell, and just recently on Sunday, Kyle Busch.
Right. Joe Logano's gotten that.
Now, I will say that in my vlog, I said, would this be considered a Mickey Mouse win as a joke? But then again, this literally portrays it right here. So
did Bubba Wallace, actually.
I'll be ready for the Mickey Mouse tweets if you do win under rain. I know how that feels.
There you go. Regan?
Yeah, Bubba Wallace talked about that too in an interview. So.
And the second one is made by, in my opinion, very underrated meme account. Y'all should go check him out. Ben Tack _NASCAR.
Yeah.
Here it is. I think this pretty much sums up how people, including myself, were with the race and the rain delay.
This is so true. I mean, it's crazy because most of the fans who I was there, they literally were like that. Everyone just went back underneath whenever they basically came back up to the concourse area or just like wherever there was cover because we were just getting rained on. And while that was happening, one of the long delays, I actually went and charged my phone. I found an outlet somewhere, like I don't know, about a mile away. I don't know if it's about a mile, but it's a pretty far walk. Nevertheless, I do think that this is definitely a great meme, and most people are like that. My grandfather, he was sitting beside me, he was with his scooter, so he just backed up back into the area, and we just kept having to get our stuff and bring them back into shelter because all of our stuff was kept getting rained on.
Right.
But yeah, this is a very accurate meme.
All right, guys, so we finally got a top 10 for you this week. This is going to be top 10 forgotten crashes at Talladega. This was made by Christian, who you saw on the show. So coming in at number 10 is Neil Bonnett's spin, resulting in a multi-car pileup.
Turn 3, Earnhardt has moved to third spot. A car spinning to the bottom. It is Neil Bonnett in 75, and another car hammers the wall. Car slowing, trying to get away. One car head on to the wall. A terrible crash at the beginning. The front of the field is coming across. Car number 76. Potter ends up down in there. There are at least 4 or 5 cars involved. Neil Bonnett's car breaking away at the top of turn 3. That is Neil Bonnett out of car number 75.
Bonnett was on.
This wreck occurred on lap 2 of the 1983 Talladega 500. 9 cars were involved, and it would be the first of only 2 cautions that day. Dale Sr. won the race. In at number 9 is Derek Cope nailing the wall, and 10 others get collected.
Trouble up in turn 4. We have a crash. First major crash of the afternoon, as a matter of fact, in turn number 4. You can see several cars spinning off the track, including Richard Petty. Ernie Irvin has also spun. A major crash here. Michael Waltrip in the yellow car is involved and has suffered some damage.
There's one of the Miller cars up on the racetrack.
Larry Pearson, badly damaged to the right front of that car.
Larry hit hard. Some fire starting to burn there on the right front of Larry Pearson's car. He's broken the fuel pump off the automobile. There's the Derek Cope car. Ernie Irvin in car number 2.
Chad Little going by. There's Hut Strickland, the number 57 car that was involved.
This happened on lap 172 of the 1989 Winston 500. 11 cars were in the wreck, and smoke blocked the view of the pack. Davey Allison edged out Terry Labonte by 2 car lengths for the win. In at number 8 is Ron Hornaday's flip in 2010.
Oh, there they go. Hornaday goes around. The rain cart the can almost upside down, and he does go on his hood as Ron Hornaday. There just wasn't any way. Hornaday rolls again in turn number 1.
This wreck occurred with 3 laps to go in the 2010 truck race at Talladega. Kyle Busch won this race for the closest Truck Series finish over Eric Almirola. At number 7 is 2 forgotten wrecks, both occurring in the same race. So the first one was on lap 6 with Stanton Barrett after he got into Elliott Sadler in the tri-oval, resulting in a big crash.
If we can show you what happened. Ever seen the Stanton Barrett car? The white car goes down, tags the 66 of Sadler. Now he's going back across the racetrack right in front of David Green. Goes up, hits the outside retaining wall. Now Green's going to come off the racetrack. Another car's trying to make the evasive moves. Oh, he drives right in the side of the yellow car of Santerre.
Wow. Once again, caution on lap number 6. Those cars involved, we see it at a little bit different angle.
Never see the cars, never see Stanton Barrett. Stanton Barrett comes up and gets tagged by Lyndon Amick, I believe.
And Stanton tried to come up into a hole that wasn't there. And that's just not being able to feel where the cars are sometimes. Then you can see the cars go up the racetrack, down the racetrack, back up the racetrack again. Few drivers did an incredible job. Santerre did an incredible job. Just got caught from the backside by a car coming back down the racetrack and hitting him in the quarter panel.
Then on lap 23, Dave Blaney got hooked and roof first into the wall, collecting 9 cars.
Oh, big crash!
One car gets turned sideways. The trial. Hermie Sadler is involved at 93, and Dave Blaney is involved.
Go high, go high, go high, go high. There's no one spinning down the bottom. One car airborne against the catch fence. And they're still wrecking down in the corner. Stay in line, Justin. 77 cars involved, the 96. Dale Earnhardt Jr. also involved, has some damage.
Miraculously, everyone was okay. Only 16 of the 43 finished the race, which was won by Joe Nemechek. And at number 6 is Ricky Craven getting turned by Robbie Gordon, causing the huge wreck.
Oh no! We have a problem. And it's the crash that we had hoped would not happen. And look at the mess right here at the start-finish line. Too numerous to count.
I mean, there's just nowhere to go. I saw the...
It happened on lap 139 of the Die Hard 500 with around 14 to 15 cars involved, including Michael Waltrip, Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, and Jeff Gordon. Or no, Jeff Gordon held off Mike Skinner and Dale Sr. to win the race. Excuse me. In at number 5, Mike Skinner, speaking of, and Tony Stewart collide, resulting in this wild pileup.
Oh, here goes Skinner across in front of all these cars. Yes, there goes some Jim Gordon in the wall. Chad Little, Rusty Wallace.
This happened on lap 49 of the 1999 Die Hard 500. Skinner forced Tony Stewart down to the ground, or to the grass, and got loose. He spun back up the track, collecting 9 contenders, including Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace. About 100,000 fans saw Dale Sr. lead 70 of the 188 laps en route to the victory. In at number 4 is Ben Rhodes triggering the big one in 2016.
Oh, there it goes.
Ben Rhodes collects a bunch of them.
Oh, man.
The big one at Talladega.
It's Hemrick also involved in the bottom in the 19 truck. There's Daniel on the apron of the racetrack.
A big sweeping crash down in turn 1.
We're going to get you back around here.
There's no other information. In at number 3 is 2 flips from the same Xfinity race at Talladega in 1995. So the first one was on lap 10 in the Hummingbird Fish Finder 500.
Everybody else is trying to find a place in line, and big trouble in the air. Goes Mark Martin on his roof. No, that is not. It is Ward Burton, excuse me. Jim Bown is in the wall. Phil Parsons has spun. Tommy Houston spins. And it's a tremendous slide down the front straightaway. Mike, they're still wrecking down there in turn 1. Rodney Combs and 3 other cars have crashed at turn 1 to end this one.
Ward Burton did a blowover in the tri-oval on lap 10, collecting around 15 cars, and then the other one was on lap 110. Randy LaJoie, who was driving Tommy Houston's car after crashing out in the first wreck, flipped off of turn 4 in a 7-car pileup for the
Fuller and Rick Wilson. Fuller! Oh, no. Oh, no. And tumbling goes Randy LaJoie over the hood of the 92 Larry Pearson. There goes the page. Back to the line. And it is Chad Little leading Jimmy Spencer to the line. A horrendous pileup out of turn 4. And we're under caution again. There's Robbie Reiser's car wrecked Johnny Rumley.
LaJoie's flip set up a 1-lap dash for the win, which was captured by Chad Little. Only 17 of 42 cars finished. In at number 2 is Dick Brooks' wild flip down the backstretch in the 1975 Talladega 500.
But on the backstretch, Richard Brooks rides one down hard.
On lap 73, he was turned on the backstretch, flipping multiple times. He was uninjured in the crash. Only a month after this flip, Junie Donlevy's team was able to repair Dick's battered 90 Ford and race it for a second-place finish at Dover. Buddy Baker held off Richard Petty to win the race. And finally, at number 1, Phil Parsons' scary flip in the 1983 race Winston 500.
Where's the problem? In the first turn, a car slams the wall, puts the end over end. A terrific accident here. More cars spinning, more colliding with the wall. One car completely airborne and fire on one of the machines. A serious accident here. The race has been clean to this point. No trouble at all. And number 66, Phil Parsons' car. They are not running.
Phil Parsons, he went tumbling in turn 1 of the 1983 Winston 500. And 10 other cars were involved in the melee. Richard Petty won the race. Now, back to the video. All right, now let's get into our Talladega picks. We got all 3 series racing there. I hope this is a good race weekend. I hope it doesn't rain like last year. Starting out with the truck series. I'm going to go ahead and say... Sorry, go ahead.
There's just 2 series.
Oh, really? I thought the trucks were racing there, too.
Not from what I've seen.
Okay, well, it's Xfinity and Cup, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to check that real quick, but while I make my Xfinity pick, I'm going to go ahead and say Brandon Jones. I think he's going to go back-to-back. I don't know why. He runs decent on plate tracks, so I would not be surprised if he wins again.
Now, I did just check. It's ARCA and Xfinity and Cup.
Okay.
The Xfinity race, this is an odd pick, but I feel like he's came close multiple times to Talladega and ends up getting taken out, but that's not his fault. Noah Gragson, I mean, he's came close to Talladega recently and ends up getting caught up in other people's messes or just getting wrecked in general. And I think that he definitely has a shot to win on Saturday. And if he doesn't win, then probably Colleague car, because Colleague racing is always good on super speedways. I can see Daniel Hemrick maybe also having a chance to get the win.
Yeah, excellent pick. And while we're at it, RCR's publicity stunt this week, we got that Jeffrey Earnhardt driving the 3, and Larry McReynolds is going to be the crew chief. So
yeah, I thought that was awesome, dude. I'm not going to lie. I thought that was really cool.
I mean, it screams publicity stunt like a lot of what RCR does, but it's still pretty cool. So now for the Cup race, I'm going to go ahead and say Brad Keselowski wins it. He ran well at Daytona. He did okay at Atlanta, but that didn't really race like Daytona and Talladega. But Brad Keselowski, I feel like he's going to break the winless streak. Another driver I could see winning it, Kevin Harvick. He ran really well there last year, but I would not be surprised if he got bumped out of it. I almost picked him, but now just thinking about it, I think I made the right call with Keselowski. Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace are also my other options. But Brad Keselowski will be the main pick.
Yeah, that's a great pick, Mike. And I was discussing this with Tim Lemming. I was thinking about who I think's going to win, and Brad Keselowski came to mind as definitely a contender. RFK Racing in general, because they were really strong at Daytona. Chris Buescher's run well at Talladega as well, so they're definitely going to be up there. I think Penske's going to do great with Ryan Blaney and Logano, and Cedric might have a chance too. Now, in regard to Harvick, I think he'll probably get caught up in another wreck. He's just been caught up in a lot of super speedway wrecks over the last 5 years. So I don't see him contending, but we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll surprise us. Now, my pick is a guy who flipped there last year, Joey Logano. I have Joey Logano winning the race. And Brad Keselowski, he won last year's spring race, and Logano flipped in it. But I think Joey Logano is going to win. He's run really well there in the past, and Brian Blaney definitely is going to help him get that win. I think there probably will be a big wreck, maybe around lap 40, or maybe towards the end. But I don't think we're going to see any flips.
All right, interesting prediction. I'm going to say we do see a flip, because we did see a flip with the 500, and it's not very hard to have flip at Talladega. And so with that, that will conclude this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials. Join the official Nasboys Fantasy League, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
See y'all.
You want me calling now, you wanting what I think.